Well, welcome to today's rant. As you can see, I've got my dogs here with me. They're back at the beach. They've been vacationing all summer. But anyway, what do I mean by today's title, The First Party? You know, I've been convinced for some time that we didn't need another third party in politics in America. We needed one party. The main person that I have an agreement with that is George Washington, our founding father. If there's ever one father, we have many fathers, but founding fathers, but he was the one who was deeply disturbed by the prospect of a two-party system. He thought we needed one, that within that party we should be able to do all the debating and challenging of one another need to be done, and there need to be a way of competing elections, people, and but I think the two-party system really has evolved into something that is a terrible logjam, bottleneck, whatever you want to call it, for our country. And I also think both parties have evolved into something that kind of ensures that the wrong people will be nominated to run for office, not the right people. People are promoted to run for office more on the basis of political compliance, sometimes length of service to the party, things like that. It's called a good old boy system, rather than merit, rather than having the best ideas, rather than being the most competent people to get the job done. I don't think our form of government was intended to be run that way or can be run that way without sooner or later getting off the rails as we are now. I mean, our government is right now a train wreck. It's dysfunctional. It's not constitutional. We have departed from the moorings of the Constitution a long time ago, and the people who are constantly, saying things, trying to appeal to what is constitutional or not, are usually exactly wrong in what they're asserting, which evidence to me they either don't know what's in the Constitution, have not read it, or they're deceivers. And listen, we have many deceivers in our government. We do. And, we have many whose sole intent is to get reelected, not to represent the interest of the people. So these are things we have to deal with, and I think the two-party system, both parties, need to be disbanded, need to be finished. I mean, we have the Republican Party that I agree with the principles and platform of. I think most people, most Republicans do, most who vote Republican agree with it, but then we have them promising to do things they never get done. They promised to defund Planned Parenthood over 8 years ago. Give us the Congress, they said, and we will defund Planned Parenthood. Because the Congress has the power of the purse. They could have done it. They didn't do it. They said, well, we need the House and the Senate. We gave them the Senate. Didn't do it. Said, well, we need the President and the House and the Senate. They didn't do it. I don't think they'll ever do it, to be honest with you. And, well, now we're looking at the judges to overturn Roe v. Wade. Just read what's going on. It's not going to get done that way. Now, ultimately, I think the real need that we have in our country is not going to be settled in Washington. Washington's not the answer. There's no leader or leaders that are going to do the job. We have to have revival in America. We have to have a spiritual revival, renewal. It's the only thing that's going to work. So I'm, really looking at the actual mechanics of things, though, and I don't think we can trust our courts anymore. The government itself is almost completely dysfunctional and off the rails. And, in this fast-changing world, that's not going to work too long anyway. It just won't work too long. You've got to be far more responsive and nimble than our government has proven able to be. So what's going to happen? Either I think we, reconnect with the simplicity and power of our Constitution. It can be read in one sitting, easily read and understood, written in plain English. And by the way, I think all of our laws should be written in plain English, not legalese, which is an alien language, which is written in code, so we have to become dependent on the code breakers to understand what is written. And I think that's another way that the swamp is filled up with all the pollution that it has been filled up with and has to be done away with. But some of these simple things, maybe they won't come in our lifetime. Maybe they won't come in our age. But we have to stand for them. We have to work for them. We have to seek to be the salt and light we're called to be. So, anyway, there is one government that is above all. There's one judge above all. And more than anything else, we need to connect with him. We need to be in obedience to him. We need to comply with him. And then carry the principles of his government, of the unity of his government, back to the world. Now, if you just look at the way things are going on in the world, we will be perpetually disturbed, but that's not where my hope is. It's where my mission is to a large degree. Heaven doesn't need me as a missionary. Heaven doesn't need me as a teacher. The kingdom of heaven doesn't. I was put on the earth to speak to things of the heavenly ways to the ways of men. And that's why the church is on the earth, to be that salt and light. It's one reason we're on the earth. There are other reasons, actually. To be training for reigning, for those who are going to rule and reign for Christ and all these things. But so we don't get overly disturbed when things run amok in the world. The world's just doing what we should expect it to do. It is the world. And, we're told that the whole world lies in the power of the evil one. Then we're told to be salt and light in it. And I think we need to do the best job at that we possibly can. One of the ways we do that, we speak truth. And one of the ways we do that is we recognize truth. Have you ever wondered why, this big issue of immigration that it has become was never raised under Obama? He called for, there are pictures of the ICE under Obama separating families, separating children from their parents, putting them in cages. There are pictures of that on the internet. Why no uproar then? We also have, this thing that is such a major issue to the Democrats, where, they had the Congress, they had the Senate, they had the presidency, did nothing to even address immigration. It's only when Obama's enforcing the same laws that Trump is enforcing the same laws that Obama enforced. If you read their speeches about immigration, it would be hard to distinguish, if you didn't know their voices, it'd be hard to distinguish Obama speeches from Trump's on immigration until Trump ran for president on it. It had gone amok. They had just opened the floodgates and done nothing to enforce the laws of the land as they had sworn to do. So, anyway, we have to address that. That's called hypocrisy. But we have our own hypocrisy. In some case, I think, in heaven, stand before the judgment seat, the hypocrisy of the Republican leadership is going to to incur, I think, according to the scriptures, a worse judgment than anything the Democrats have done or forced. This is, that we see Jesus saying to some of the most righteous cities in Israel, where they even stoned somebody who was caught in adultery. But according to the law, they were the most righteous cities, maybe that were ever on the earth. The Lord said Sodom is going to have it easier in the judgment than they would, because they had, these righteous cities in Israel at that time had rejected a greater light. So the degree of judgment does not come because of the degree of darkness as much as the degree of light that is rejected. And all these Republican leaders have claimed to be pro-life, done nothing about it, done nothing about the slaughter of millions of the most innocent among us. One of the things that brings a curse on any land, a shedding of innocent blood, has been promoted by one side, but the other knows how wrong it is, knows how evil it is, and still, even in a position of authority to have done something about it, have done nothing about it. I really think they are in danger of a worse, more severe judgment than even those who have been pro-choice and pro-abortion all these years. It's repulsive. It's terrible what's been happened. We may totally disagree with the Democratic platform and the pro-death that it is, and not just about abortion, but about many other things. And that's terrible. That is evil. But I think we have so many others who could have done something about that and did nothing. To me, they're worse. They're betrayers. They knew the truth and did nothing, and still did nothing. So I'm for one party, one system, where everybody, there have to be certain standards of who's going to run for office and the credentials and all for doing that. But then let America vote on the one, where it's not a party thing, but it's who is for what is best for America. I think we're going to see that. I really believe it's going to happen. Our system is broken, but God is not abandoning our country. There are many things He's doing right now that are evidence He's not giving up on us. And so it will be fixed. It will be better. I'm not sure it's not going to be perfect in this life, but it will be better. But why not stand up for these things? And let's stand up for the truth above all things. For those who are both evil and standing for evil, we need to stand against it. But those who claim to be standing for good but do nothing, we need to also call them out and never compromise our convictions. Never give way. To me, one of the most appalling things about the Republican Party right now, about our present leadership in Congress, and even the president, if he has a chance to do something about it and doesn't do anything about it, they're worse. They are worse. They have done worse if they knew to do good and did not do it when they had the power. That's my opinion. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.